Kohl's seeing a boost after providing an upbeat outlook for its preliminary third quarter 2022 earnings results. Separately, Kohl's announcing its CEO is stepping down. That is the big news of the day. That's effective December 2nd of this year. Sazi, you've been hot to trot on this one and really critical of Kohl's executive team, the management, and how they've been running the store, and quite frankly, it's been showing up in their numbers.
Just an incredibly poor job. You have the shares of Kohl's under now outgoing CEO Michelle Gass barely have risen under her leadership since she took over as CEO in May 2018. The S&P 500, I believe, is up 42% during that time span. Coming into this year, you have just really awful performance by this company. You have a completely botched sale process. I was talking to a top 3 shareholder in Kohl's this morning. They say that the departure of Gass is, quote, great news. And it is likely great news because now you have to start thinking about, does the sale process restart for Kohl's? Now, this is something Kohl's has bizarrely shut down repeatedly under Gass, not really looking, I would argue, or people I've talked to, not really keeping the interests of shareholders in mind. They had offers for this company over $50 a share. Now the stock is trading, or before this news was trading under $30, and this has been a massive wealth destruction by the management team and the Kohl's and even the Kohl's board. So the departure of Gass, as they say today, she's going to take another opportunity. Unclear what that is, but now potentially opens the door for a company to remake their board and ultimately perhaps move more aggressively to sell the company. Well,
they've continued to, in the midst of a very challenging environment where many of the manufacturers on the retail front are moving more towards direct to consumer. You've got rising operational expenses in terms of the number of employees and the headcount that you have, and you have a high overhead in the amount of square footage that you operate as a store in Kohl's. I don't know why they need to have that much square footage when you have that many manufacturing partners that are taking more of their direct-to-consumer approach straight to the market instead of going through a Kohl's, because they view that as some of their own value destruction or their own brand affinity destruction as well. If they're viewed as a discounted brand or a discounted logo, then that's not the positioning that they want to have, and thus they start to pull back from the relationships with, and I'm thinking about a Nike, pulling back from some of the relationships with a Kohl's, with a Foot Locker, or with a Macy's. And so when you've got more of the direct-to-consumer disruption that's taking place, it makes it extremely hard for a Kohl's to recover in that environment.
Yeah, you're right on. Nailed it. And this has been one of the strangest stories I've followed. A stock price that has been absolutely hammered. Financial results that have underperformed key rivals for years under Michelle Gass, and yet she's been able to keep this gig. So now change is coming, and new CEO is the former longtime CEO of Burlington. So maybe some change is coming to the struggling Kohl's.